Good morning and welcome to Cincy Lifestyle. Thank you for joining us this morning. We certainly hope you're having a great day thus far, even though we're sheltering in place and inside. Kind of the day for it because it's a little cloudy out there, some rain today. But Mona, as I understand it, that rain's going to be around with some mild temperatures.
You know what, Clyde? It is, I can hear the rain inside. I can barely hear you. So I'm going to do some checking on my part and see if I can hear you a little bit better.
Okay, let me give you an audio test. Okay, that was
Nope,
wrong.
still can't hear you really
No,
well,
no,
but
I was being silly.
but it's
Pardon
okay.
me.
We're doing a whole new setup where I'm actually being trusted to set up some things in my own house. So this is going to be a good experiment in how this may or may not work.
Well, so
But
far so good.
I will tell you, Clyde, I can hear the rain outside, and it is I can hear the rain outside, and it's kind of loud, but I hope people at home can't hear it. But Clyde, you know what? Here's something. A friend sent me a picture of the big boy market that they have on their menu board
Hmm.
when you go through the drive-through.
Hmm.
And it's amazing the things that they're selling. They're selling all kinds of meat and stuff in bulk, and including toilet paper and other, essentials. And they're also selling what I thought was funny, a big bag a big bag of chili. Okay, and so my thought was, to anyone who buys that big bag of chili, they should get free toilet paper. What do you think?
A combo. Yeah, that's that sounds right. That makes a lot of sense. Boy, does it make a lot of sense. As a lot of you understand right now, you probably have some home projects that you're working on, and the Cincy Lifestyle crew is certainly no different in that regard. Recently, one of our team members revamped her stairwell with the help of peel and stick wallpaper, and the results, well, they're pretty impressive. Take a look.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, we want to take you back in time right now to the early 20th century when people ordered their homes from a magazine and built the homes themselves. See, the Sears Kit Homes shaped American lives with a large number of home buyers right here in the tri-state. Take a look.
Would you ever take on the challenging task of building a house from the foundation up? Well, for the first couple decades of the 20th century, Sears supplied a way in which almost anyone could do so. It's called Sears Kit Homes, or in other words, IKEA-style homes delivered in a box with building instructions. That's right, doors, windows, flooring, mantles, everything, packaged, sealed, and delivered in a train car. It all started in 1908 with Sears' 1,400-page catalog. Open to page 596 and you'll see a drawing of a house. 2 stories, 9 rooms for $1,700. There were hundreds of models to choose from, ranging anywhere from $600 to $6,000. And the Sears Modern Home program offered mortgages, making it affordable for anyone to live a 20th century domestic life filled with modern conveniences. For many, this was the first home that offered central heating, insulation, indoor plumbing, and even was sometimes the only house on the block with electricity. Most Sears homes were built on the East Coast and Midwest, with Cincinnati being a prime participating city due to rail access. Sears even expanded their production into Cincy, purchasing Norwood Sash and Door Company in Norwood, Ohio. And to this day, Cincinnati perhaps claims the most documented Sears homes in the country, residing in neighborhoods such as Blue Ash, Cheviot, Deer Park, Mount Washington, Norwood, Wyoming, and so many more. But how can you tell if you're living in a Sears home today? Well, here are some clues to help you identify. Start by verifying your home's construction date. If your home was built between 1908 to 1940, you very well could be living in a Sears home. Also look for stamped lumber on exposed beams, joists, or rafters in your basement, crawl space, or attic. Inspect the back of moldings and trim for shipping labels. Check and compare the home's floor plan and footprint to your room dimensions. Look at the column arrangement on your front porch and see if its uniqueness identifies with other Sears homes. And square block molding at staircase landings is also a sign that you could be living in a Sears home. Unfortunately, there's no simple method of knowing whether or not you live in a Sears home. Inspection is the only way. With the rise in suburban living after World War II, no one wanted to admit they lived in a Sears home. Many homes underwent major renovations, and after Sears discontinued its modern home catalog in 1940, all documents and sales records were destroyed. And now, even though Sears as a company is no more, many of its model kit homes are still standing proof of modern American living.
Right now, the segment we call Cincinnati Curiosities, and here is one of the greatest curiosities of all. Now, we live in a community that loves its music. The Symphony, Riverfest, Bunbury Music Festival, the Cincinnati Music Festival. So it's hard to believe there ever was a time when people here wanted to stop the music. But there was, and it's a true Cincinnati curiosity. In November 1879, Cincinnati hummed along in pure harmony. Music Hall was barely a year old. The May Festival was in full voice. The brand new College of Music was tuning up, and the Conservatory of Music was nearing venerable status. Amid this citywide melody, Cincinnati residents were appalled to discover, screeching from the pages of their daily gazette, the manifesto of an obstreperous new organization, the Society for the Suppression of Music. The unsigned article laid out an alarming prospectus. The organizers of this movement have been brought together by no feelings of malice, but by a growing sense of the danger in which we are living, and a desperate resolve to save the community from the Huns of Harmony, whose shadows stretch ominously across our thresholds. Atop this outrageous document, the Gazette reproduced what appeared to be the insignia for the Society for the Suppression of Music, an agitated man armed with an axe and engaged in the destruction of a pile of musical instruments. From time to time, speeches delivered at meetings of this society were smuggled into print, each more incendiary than the last. Quote, "I have in my home an instrument of torture known as a piano. My sister performs upon the same, likewise my wife. Where are the liberties guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States and the state of Ohio? Something will come of this. I hope it mayn't be human gore." Although short of human gore, the fulminations of the society favored draconian measures such as a mandate that, quote, "any man, woman, or child over 2 years caught whistling in the street should be marched to the nearest glass factory and be made to blow for a living." The society groaned at the announcement of any local concert or parade and protested when the Cincinnati Zoo initiated musical entertainments. The fine print of these diatribes often contained appeals for donations of wine and cigars. Could it be that the Society for the Suppression of Music was not exactly serious?
Well, as it turns out, the society was all in jest, the brainstorm of famed artist Henry Farney and his good friend, a paper merchant named John S. Woods. Other members represented Cincinnati's A-list, including several major donors to the city's musical institutions. After a couple of years, Henry Farney became famous, John Woods became rich, the other members of the Society for the Suppression of Music found other ways to amuse themselves. Cincinnati was, again, safe for music.
And joining us now is the man behind the Curiosities, blogger Greg Hand. Thank you for being here, Greg. And they say Cincinnati has no sense of humor.
Absolutely.
So talk a little bit about Henry Farney. What became of him after all of this?
If you go to the Cincinnati Art Museum, you're going to run into Henry Farney. He became very famous for his paintings of the American West, especially those involving Native Americans. And so the Cincinnati Art Museum out in the Cincinnati wing is filled with Henry Farney's picture. He was a noted artist for big publications at the time, like Harper's Weekly. But the thing is, this guy was really the instigator for a lot of pranks and humorous things in Cincinnati. He, a couple of years before this Society for the Suppression of Music, started a satirical newspaper in Cincinnati called Ye Gig Lamps, which only lasted for a couple of months, but a sign of things to come.
You know, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, what happened with John Woods?
Now, you know, here's the thing. In the 1870s, 1880s, you couldn't go anywhere in Cincinnati without running into John Woods. He ran a paper company, which sounds like a nice, safe, boring job. But if you look at any of the newspaper mentions about him, he was invited everywhere to give after-dinner speeches. Oh, wow. He was like the Cincinnati version of Henny Youngman. And unfortunately, none of his scripts survive, but you get all these reports of this guy was hilarious.
Wow.
So Greg, you know, Cincinnati does not have a reputation for having a lot of humor. So guys like this really tend to stand out on the landscape. I mean, they seem to go above and beyond.
Yeah, the thing is, at this time, Cincinnati did not have must-see television, you know, like Game of Thrones or Cincy Lifestyle.
Very good.
And so this was the way they entertained themselves, was forming societies. Mm-hmm. And in fact, they formed so many societies that these men were out at some society almost every night. Mm. And then you read they had 13 children. You wonder when they had the time to do this.
Well, they certainly found it. Maybe long lunch hour.
Long lunch hour.
Maybe so.
Greg, thanks so much for being here.
It's always a pleasure.
Yep, we just love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, coming up here on Cincy Lifestyle, are you getting enough vitamin B12? Probably not. Well, this vitamin is important for brain function, and we want to show you the foods that will help give you a boost. All that, so much more in just a few minutes.
Welcome back. Did you know that flowers have been used in cooking since ancient times? Yep, it's true. And there's a resurgence to this trend thanks to the farm-to-table movement. But the love for flowers has always been there for a local woman and her sister who wrote the book on how to use these flowers in a culinary way. And right now I want to welcome Mary Newman, a North Avondale resident and co-author of the book, Edible Flowers. Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So what made you decide to dive into this?
Well, my sister's an art history professor, and I'm more into the science and food aspect. So we kind of combine the two. So much about flowers is how things look, and that's really important. So we combined our two interests, and we traveled around the world checking out flowers.
So why should people eat flowers in the first place?
We call it flower power, because you really can take your cooking up a notch. I think we have a picture of some deviled eggs that we had made, and all we did was take some nasturtium flowers and put on top of the deviled eggs, and it really, it looks really beautiful and gorgeous. People love it.
So nasturtiums, but you also have roses here as an example. Tell me how those work.
These you can get at the Asian market in Findlay Market, and they're just dried food grade roses, and you could have edible flowers even during the winter. So you just break off the tip and then you crumble it on top of something, maybe mashed potatoes, maybe a cream soup, maybe some rice.
And what do they taste like?
It doesn't have much flavor at this point. They're dry, just kind of like we used to do with dried parsley. You sprinkle it around the plate maybe, and it just looks beautiful.
Now, what's the most exotic or strangest flower you've eaten?
Well, I think when we were doing our research, we went to Vietnam, and they had a hot pot, a flower hot pot, and I think we have a picture of that. But it's beautiful flowers that you dip into a broth, almost like a fondue. And we would dip the flowers in and eat the flowers, and it was really beautiful. But as far as strangest for eating, when we were also in Asia, we had a wasabi blossom. And it tasted like wasabi.
Did it set you on fire?
Yes, it did. But it was beautiful. It was a small little white flower, and you could put it on top of a dab of wasabi, and it looked beautiful with your sushi.
Well, that does raise the question as to whether there's anything you might want to think twice about, anything you should be careful about, and how do you know?
Well, you could Google it real easy to find out if a flower is edible, but the best thing is to take it easy, take it slow. The best thing is to put a flower or two on top of a salad. That's enough. You don't need a whole bowl of nasturtiums. Nobody eats that. It wouldn't be very tasty. But you also just eat a petal or two and see if it agrees with you.
Are there flowers that you could and or should cook?
You can cook with some of them. In our cookbook, we have, in our book, we have a recipe for mushu pork, which uses dried daylilies that you also can buy at an Asian market. So some of them are for cooking. A lot of them are for garnish. That is really where you get your power, where you bring something out and they see all that, they get excited.
So tell us where we can find the book.
Well, you can find it at Barnes & Noble and all those places. Nature's Niche, all the parks stores.
Website?
Mary, capital A, Newman.com.
Okay, Mary, thank you so much for being here.
Much.
What a learning experience.
All right, you eat them now.
Okay, I will. Mona?
Well, as more and more people go meatless, they may not always realize what they're missing on a vitamin and mineral level. One deficiency that's common among vegans and vegetarians and older adults is the lack of vitamin B12. But what is B12 and what does it do? Well, of course, we turn to our registered dietitian that is, Kayla Hansman, the woman behind Cincy Fit Food. Thank you for being here, Kayla.
Hi,
we
Mona.
love it when you come. You
Oh,
always have
thanks.
really great information. All right, so tell me, how does vitamin B12 help our bodies?
Yeah, so vitamin B12 is one of 8 B vitamins. And so B vitamins as a whole is kind of associated with energy in our body. B12 in particular is really important for red blood cell formation, DNA synthesis, as well as a lot of neurological function. So very heavy stuff, very important things that are going on in our body. So, our body does store it in some capacity, but like you mentioned, if you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, if you're kind of following like a flexitarian diet, you may be missing some of those animal-based sources that is really prevalent with B12.
Well, you know what? I saw your display here and I was excited because I eat a lot of these foods. So tell us what you brought.
Perfect. Yeah. So we brought a couple of things today. So it's important to know that B12 is, again, natural in those animal and dairy sources. So first over here, we've got a yogurt that, again, added to it, it's just, natural occurring, but actually some cereals are fortified with B12. So, marketers and brands have come around and they said, you know what, we need to sneak some of this in some case. So a lot of fortified and enriched cereals will include B12. You just want to check the side label and it'll mention that there. So
it'll mention it. Okay. And you brought this. What's in
yep.
the mason jar?
So that's just another granola that I poured out, and I kind of store them that way. So
okay.
Another fortified enriched cereal. So one item that I've kind of dispersed throughout the rest of them is nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is kind of it's not really a new product, but a lot of people are coming around to it now because, again, realizing the importance of this. So this contains over 100% of your daily value of B12 that they, again, fortified in here.
So is it something you just sprinkle over your food?
So I sprinkled it over our popcorn here. So
does it have a taste?
It's kind of got like a nutty, cheesy taste.
Oh,
so,
nutty cheesy. Okay, that's good for popcorn.
Yeah, so if you want to give that a try, there's a little bit
we will.
sprinkled on top. I did a little bit of a cooking spray just so it would stick, and then sprinkled it on from there. It is also sprinkled on top of our tuna salad. So tuna itself also has B12 in it, so it's a really good source of that. Again, incorporating that into our diet a couple ways.
Well, we've got about 10 seconds left.
Okay.
So just Tell us what these are and where people can reach you.
Yeah, so this is actually a nutritional yeast-based sauce with some spaghetti squash and meatballs. So again, whipped it up really quickly. But again, if you guys want to find these recipes and more information, follow me on Instagram, Facebook at Cincy Fit Foodie, and then cincyfitfoodie.com.
Kayla, you're the best. We love when you come on. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mona.
Thanks, guys. We'll be back with more Cincy Lifestyle on the other side of the break. Plus, be sure to check us out on Facebook. That's where we post all our guest segments, community stories for you to watch and share with your friends. So like and follow us now at facebook.com/Cincy Lifestyle. And stick around, there's more coming your way. PK, the director, says those gray skies out there mirror how some of us may be feeling, but keep pushing ahead. There are blue skies and sunshine coming your way, says PK, the director, and the weather forecaster. Also some rain today, but things will clear up a little bit tomorrow. And coming up tomorrow here on Cincy Lifestyle,
speaking of
Mona?
tomorrow.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes, we talk about how to teach your kids the importance of saving money. Very important. Our financial guru from Game Time Budgeting will be here with some easy and fun ways your kids can learn this important habit. And it's a habit that will definitely help when they grow up. Absolutely. They can be more responsible with money. Clyde?
Well, also, Mona, you can still say yes to the
I'll
dress.
just finish out the show.
Go right ahead.
All right, I'll just close out the show today. Thanks for watching and make it a great day.
Thanks for watching our video. And if you liked what you saw, hit the subscribe button. You can also check out full episodes of the show you've never seen before, or watch your favorites again and again. And as always, we love to say it, make it a great day.